Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari. Yashodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Namati Ravanachari. Yamunati Ravanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari. Yashodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamunati Ravanachari. Yamunati Ravanachari. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Kalashanji Radha Kalashanji Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Shamasunda Radha Shamasunda Shri Radhe. Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya, Jaya, Prabhupada. Shri Radha Madhava ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jaishnav, on that microphone, can you put it on mute while we're not talking in it? Sometimes it bangs around and it makes a big boom, boom. So just have it on mute. Is that okay? Thank you. I appreciate it. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narotamam devyam sarasvatim vyasam tato jayam udirayat nasta prayasa breshu nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Om Migantamarandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Shakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kamamayam Datati Svapadantikam Vanche Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktarvinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvashesha Shunyavati Pasyatare Shatarine. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Okay, so we are on Canto 9, Chapter 7, verses 1 through the whole chapter. So let's go. Read about 3 verses each. Please. Jaishnav, that's your cue.
Shukadev Goswami said, the most prominent among the sons of Mandata was he who is celebrated as Ambarisha. Ambarisha was accepted as son by his grandfather Yavanashva. Ambarisha's son was Yavanashva and Yavanashva's son was Harita. In Mandata's dynasty, Ambarisha, Harita and Yavanashva were very prominent. The serpent brothers of Narmada gave Narmada to Purukutsta. Being sent by Vasuki, she took Purukutsta to the lower region of the universe.
There is Rasatal, the lower region of the universe. Purukutsta, being empowered by Lord Vishnu, was able to kill all the Gandharvas who deserved to be killed. Purukutsa received the benediction from the serpents that anyone who remembers this history of his being brought by Narmada to the lower region of the universe will be assured of safety from the attack of snakes.
Yes. Go ahead and read 3 if you don't mind. If you want to pass it on, it's okay too. The son of text
The
4.
son of Puru Kutsa was Trasa Adyasu, who was the father of Anaranya. Anaranya's son was Haryasva, the father of Praruna. Praruna was the father of Tribandana. Text 5 to 6. The son of Tribandana was Satyavrata, who is celebrated by the name Trishanku, because he kidnapped the daughter of a Brahmana when she was being married. His father caused him to become a Chandala, lower than a Shudra. Therefore, by the influence of Vishwamitra, he went to the higher planetary system, the heavenly planets, in his material body, but because of the prowess of the demigods, he fell back downward. Nonetheless, by the power of Vishwamitra, he did not fall all the way down. Even today, he can still be seen hanging in the sky head downward. The son of Trishanku was Harish Chandra. Because of Harish Chandra, there was a quarrel between Vishwamitra and Vasishtha, who for many years fought one another, having been transformed into birds.
Has anybody seen him hanging from the sky with his head downward? I'm really interested about that. Okay. Go ahead.
Harishchandra had no son and was therefore extremely morose. Once, therefore, following the advice of Narada, he took shelter of Varuna and said to him, "My lord, I have no son. Would you kindly give me one?" O King Parikshit, Harishchandra begged Varuna, "My lord, if a son is born to me, with that son I shall perform a sacrifice for you, for your satisfaction." When Harishchandra said this, Varuna replied, "Let it be so." Because of Varuna's benediction, Harishchandra begot a son named Ruhita. Thereafter, when the child was born, Varuna approached Harishchandra and said, "Now you have a son. With this son you can offer me a sacrifice." In answer to this, Harishchandra said, "After 10 days have passed since an animal's birth, the animal becomes fit to be sacrificed."
Okay, is everybody staying with the story? We got somebody who married a snake wife, went down to the lower planets. We got somebody who wanted to become a Brahma but was turned into a Chandala, right? And they went up to the sky and the demigod said, "Nope, you can't hang out here. You're a Chandala." And he's hanging down from the sky right now. And now we've got Harish Chandra who wants a son, right? And so he talks to the Varuna, and Varuna says, "Okay, you can have a son, but you have to sacrifice that son to me." Okay, go ahead.
After 10 days, Varuna came again and said to Harishchandra, Now you can perform the sacrifice. Harishchandra replied, when an animal grows teeth, then it becomes pure enough to be sacrificed. When the teeth grew, Varuna came and said to Harishchandra, now the animal has grown teeth and you can perform the sacrifice. Harishchandra replied, when all its teeth have fallen out, then it will be fit for sacrifice. When the teeth had fallen out, Varuna returned and said to Harishchandra, now the animal's teeth have fallen out and you can perform the sacrifice. But Harishchandra replied, when the animal's teeth grow in again, then he will be pure enough to be sacrificed.
So we can see that Harishchandra doesn't want to give up his son, right? You can imagine how hard this would be.
When the teeth grew, text 14, when the teeth grew in again, Varuna came and said to Harishchandra, now you can perform the sacrifice. But Harishchandra then said, O king, when the sacrificial animal becomes a kshatriya and is able to shield himself to fight with the enemy, then he will be purified. Text 15, Harishchandra was certainly very much attached to his son. Because of this affection, he asked the demigod Varuna to wait. Thus Varuna waited and waited for the time to come. Rohita could understand that his father intended to offer him as the animal for sacrifice. Therefore, just to save himself from death, he equipped himself with bow and arrows and went to the forest.
This is very smart of Harishchandra, right? He waited until he said, my son becomes strong like a Kshatriya. And the son, being strong enough, said, okay, I'll go. His son can protect himself in the forest, right? So he goes to the forest. Very intelligent.
When Rohiti heard that his father had been attacked by dropsy due to Varuna and that his abdomen had grown very large, he wanted to return to the capital, but King Indra forbade him to do so. King Indra advised Rohita to travel to different pilgrimage sites and holy places, for such activities are pious indeed. Following this instruction, Rohita went to the forest for 1 year. In this way, at the end of the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th years, when Rohita wanted to return to his capital, the king of heaven, Indra, approached him as an old Brahmana and forbade him to return, repeating the same words as in the previous year.
Thereafter, in the 6th year, after wandering in the forest, Rohita returned to the capital of his father. He purchased from Ajigartha his second son, named Sunahepsepa. Then he offered Sunahepsepa to his father, Harishchandra, to be used as a sacrificial animal, and offered Harishchandra his respectful obeisances. Thereafter, the famous king Harishchandra, one of the exalted persons in history, performed grand sacrifices by sacrificing a man and pleased all the demigods. In this way, his dropsy created by Varuna was cured. In that great human sacrifice, Vishwamitra was the chief priest to offer oblations. That the perfectly self-realized Jamadagni had the responsibility for chanting the mantras from the Yajurveda. Vashishta was the chief Brahminical priest, and the sage Ayashva was the reciter of the hymns of the Samaveda.
King Indra, being very pleased with Harishchandra, offered him a gift of a golden chariot. Sunashepa's glories will be presented along with the description of the son of Vishwamitra. The great sage Vishwamitra saw that Maharaj Harishchandra, along with his wife, was truthful, forbearing, and concerned with the essence. Thus he gave them imperishable knowledge for fulfillment of the human mission. Maharaj Harishchandra first purified his mind, which was full of material enjoyment, by amalgamating it with the earth. Then he amalgamated the earth with water, the water with fire, the fire with the air, and the air with the sky. Thereafter he amalgamated the sky with the total material energy, and the total material energy with spiritual knowledge. The spiritual knowledge is realization of one's self as part of the Supreme Lord. When the self-realized spiritual soul is engaged in service to the Lord, he is eternally imperceptible and inconceivable. Thus, established in spiritual knowledge, he is completely freed from material bondage.
What a chapter, huh? Woo! That's you can make this stuff up. See, woo. Text 7, please. Is our focus first? Vishwamitra and Vashishta are fighting. Traisan Kavo Harishchandro. Traisan Kavo Harishchandro. Vishwamitra Vasistyaho. Vishwamrita Vasistyaho. Yanit Nimitam Abud Yadyam. Yanimitam Abud Yadham. Paksinor Bahu Varsikam. Basinor Bahu Varsikam. Trasan Kavo Harishchandro. Vishwamrita Vasistyaho. Yanit Nimityam Abud Yadham. Paksinor Bahu Varsikam. Bolo, please. Word for word together, please. Traisan Kavaha, the son of Triskanu, Harishchandraha, by the name Harishchandra, Vishwamrita Vasistyaho, between Vishwamrita and Vashishta, Yat Nimitam, because of Harishchandra, Abut, there was, Yudham, a great fight, Pakshinaho, both of whom had been converted into birds, Bahu Varsikam, for many years. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The son of Trishantku was Harishchandra. Because of Harishchandra, there was a quarrel between Vishwamrita and Vashishta, who for many years fought one another, having been transformed into birds. Okay, we can read the translation together, please. Ready? The son of Triskanu was Harishchandra. Because of Harishchandra, there was a quarrel between Vishwamrita and Vashishta, who for many years fought one another, having been transformed into birds. Purport. Vishwamrita and Vashishta were always inimical. Formerly, Vishwamrita was a Kshatriya, and by undergoing severe austerities, he wanted to become a Brahmana. But Vashishta would not agree to accept him. In this way, there was always disagreement between the two. Later, however, Vashishta accepted him because of Vishwamrita's quality of forgiveness. Once Harishchandra performed a yajna for which Vishwamrita was the priest, but Vishwamrita, being angry at Harishchandra, took away all his possessions, claimed them as a contribution of dakshina. Vashishta, however, did not like this, and therefore a fight arose between Vashishta and Vishwamrita. The fighting became so severe that each of them cursed the one other. One of them said, "You may become a bird." And the other said, "You may become a duck." Thus, both of them became birds and continued fighting for many years because of Harishchandra. We can see that such a great mystic yogi as Sabari became a victim of sense gratification, and such great sages as Vishishta and Vishishtamrita became birds. This is the material world. Abram, Bhuvanal, Loka, Punar, Avrantino, Arjuna. Within this material world, or within this universe, however elevated one may be in material qualities, one must suffer the conditions of birth, death, old age, and disease. Jana Murtya Jara Vidya Vayadi. Therefore, Krishna says that this material world is simply miserable. Dukalyam, Aspatam. The Bhagavatam says, Param Param Yad Vipadam. At every step, here there is danger. Therefore, because of the Krishna conscious movement, provides the opportunity for the human being to get out of this material world simply by chanting Hare Krishna mantra. This movement is the greatest benediction in human society. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, humans are meant to be at a certain level where we become above the animals. Both humans and animals have something in common. There's 4 things that are common between us. What are those 4 things? Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, right? And when human life is revolved around these 4 things, then it is merely animal life. The human life is meant for inquiring about the absolute truth. So we go about life trying to find out how we can have nice food stuff, right? We want to be comfortable. We want to mate. We want to have a nice homestead, right? It's not just, mating isn't just about the sense of the act of having relations. It's the desire to have a homestead in a place that's yours, right? You hear when the mother is pregnant, they're nesting, right? They're getting the house ready, right? And so we have this great desire to be comfortable in our home. Sleeping, we want a nice, peaceful home so that we can have a nice soft bed and sleep for as much as we like, right? We don't want to wake up early. Unfortunately, we have to get up for work sometimes because we want to make sure that we maintain our home so that we can have that soft bed and that we can eat nicely. Interesting, huh? And then we have defending, right? The cat is always thinking about how this is my hunting ground, this is my place, and if any other cat gets within it, they start growling at each other, like this is my spot, no, this is my spot, and then they might fight, and then they'll figure it out, right? So they're defending their hunting ground so that they can eat, sleep, and mate very nicely, right? And so this defending, this can become very much, how should I say, what I'm trying to say is this fighting, this defending can become very intricate. It can become very advanced with the human society. We have wars, we have atomic bombs, we have nuclear bombs, we have drones now, we have AI systems that are learning how to predict how the enemy's acting so that our intelligence comes through and we can see how the patterns of our enemies, right? So we become very, very advanced in our defending because we want to make sure that we can mate, sleep, and eat nicely, right? So in this case, Vishwamitra and Vashisha are fighting, right? They're having an argument. Somebody stole the dakshina and somebody didn't like it, right? And so this is a very practical situation actually in our life. Because in our life we have things that people do that get under our skin. They irritate us. And the first thing we might want to do is we want to defend ourselves. We might want to fight for what we believe is right. Yes, no? Yes. But we're meant to do it in a way that we're not, we need to learn how human society is honorable in their fight. There's actually laws that say this is honorable about how you fight, right? So at least we can rise up to a human society that we have rules of engagement, right? Matter of fact, there's a UN, right? That says we don't use this caliber of bullet. We don't use these kind of tactics when we fight, right? When we play sports, there's an understanding that there's a gentleman's agreement about the rules that are in the book, but also you'll hear in sports often that there's the unwritten rule. These are rules of honor. You don't do this, you don't do that. And if you go past it, then you're looked by the other side and by the fans as a bad person, right? So you can see that our material world is made in a way where we have these rules of society that are going about. And because we're human and we make mistakes, we go about our day and things happen where conflict happens. Just in our daily life as people. So then what do? It's unevitable. It's going to happen. So how do we react into the situation? Well, we can fight, we can defend, or we can try to rise above the situation and take it as an opportunity for our growth in Krishna consciousness. Now, what does this look like? Well, I'll tell you a little story about Junior Devotee Das. And Junior Devotee Das had a situation where they're doing their Gayatri, and they're really the Gayatri mantra is when you get second initiation, Brahmanical initiation, 3 times a day you do mantras that are certain mantras that are given by the Guru, and they're spoken quietly, right? And so Junior Devotee Das is pretty attached to doing his Gayatri at the right time, because there's certain times in it. So they're doing it back in the back of the temple, and however, there's a kirtan going on, and Srila Prabhupada disciple Prabhu decides to stop the kirtan, and he doesn't like that there's people he doesn't like that Junior Devotee Das is in the back doing his Gayatri. He thinks he should be doing kirtan. So he stops the kirtan, says, we're meant to be doing kirtan right now. This day and age is the Yuga Dharma is to chant Hare Krishna. It's not Gayatri. And Junior Devotee Das says, this isn't right. They shouldn't be stopping the kirtan. This isn't okay. And he gets mad and he walks out, right? Okay. So then Junior Devotee Das, he takes a deep breath, does his Gayatri, chants some Hare Krishna, and goes, what's going on there? You know, I wasn't acting in my right mind, right? Everything is Krishna's arrangement. So how do I respond to this situation where I feel like somebody's doing something wrong and they're calling me out for doing something wrong? Okay. Well, first of all, we should look and say, is the criticism just? In this situation, Junior Devotee Das said, you know what, this person's right. They're actually right. That if Srila Prabhupada was right here, and I was with, if I was with Srila Prabhupada and we were in having kirtan, what would Srila Prabhupada want? I think that he'd want the devotees to be doing kirtan, not to be in the back doing their Gayatri. So, senior Srila Prabhupada disciple Prabhu had a great point, right? So, but junior devotee Das said, however, I need to confront about this, because even though I was wrong, they didn't do was right. What they shouldn't have stopped there. Okay? So junior devotee Das at this time, he has a situation where he can just be tolerant and let it go. Or because they're disturbed, they can confront, right? But how do we confront? Do we start blaming people? Do we start saying what you did was wrong? Do we start pointing the finger at the other person? We really should be taking responsibility for ourselves, right? And understanding what we had to play in the situation. So what did junior devotee Das do? His confrontation to the senior devotee was, hey, you made a really good point. I think you're right. I think that we should be participating in the kirtan, that we shouldn't be doing Gayatri. I thought that was a really good point. And I'm going to make adjustment on there. However, he said, stopping the kirtan and chastising people in front of the deities, I don't know if that's something that's so we should be doing. And he laughed. He kind of goes, and junior devotee Das could understand that he didn't like that word criticism, right? So he said, okay, I can see that you didn't think it was a criticism. I can appreciate that. But still, the point is there, right? We shouldn't be stopping kirtan to do that, right? And you could see that his mood kind of changed, like, you're right. What you were doing is wrong, and you admitted it, but what I did was probably not right in it. And so then they came up to an agreement. Okay, that was a long story, right? Is there a point to it? Mishra Bhagavan says, I don't know. Well, see, the thing is that we have to take responsibility for ourselves. We have to say that I am responsible for my Krishna consciousness. How I react is my responsibility. I'm not going to give the power to somebody else that determines how I act. So therefore, I need to think about and to understand about what I need to do to improve as a devotee. And in that way, we can understand that when conflict arises and when material nature hits us, we can actually use it for a positivity in our Krishna consciousness. If we just are blaming the other person, then we're never going to grow. That doesn't mean that we can't confront other people about things, but there's a right and honorable way we should do it. We don't come out and say, you did this, you did this, you did this. It might be better to say, hey, I understand where you're coming from, or I don't understand. Can you please help me to understand? So we come from a position of inquiry, concern. I don't know if this is good for the other devotees if we stop kirtan in the middle of it. I think your point is good, but if we do this, doesn't that disturb people? Yes, okay. So both people grow in that situation. So my point here is that Vishwamitra and Vasishtha get to a point where they are fighting in a way that they don't even act as humans, let alone devotees. And what's their punishment for it? They become animals. If we act like animals, we become animals. So if we want to be Krishna consciousness, we should be. If we want to be Krishna consciousness, we should be conscious. We should understand that we have a responsibility, and we should take it, and we should look. And I've mentioned this before. If we're only 3% at fault, take 100% of the responsibility for your 3%. Do not look at the 97% of the other person. Somebody might say, but Prabhu, in your story, the devotee went and they confronted the other person. Okay, we can talk as devotees about how to improve. But that situation wasn't that that person was trying to tell that person that they're wrong. They were trying to come to an understanding, an agreement. Hey, let's both grow. Do you see the difference there? It's important. It's important that we're not trying to chastise people or hurt people because they're wrong and they're our enemies and they're not good devotees. Instead, we should come up to a platform of we're devotees practicing together. We make mistakes. The material nature hits us. What can we do to grow? And you know what? Senior Prabhupada disciple Prabhu responded in a wonderful way. They listened to it. When you don't come out of trying to defeat somebody, trying to fight them, trying to destroy them, then you get a different response. Okay, because of patterns, when you try this, it might not exactly work for the first time, but try to understand that you're still working from old patterns. So we need to consistently act in this way to grow relationships in our as devotees. So that's 820. We talked about that material nature is coming in conflict with us. And this causes conflicts between not only ourselves, but with devotees. We have a responsibility that we can act in a way. We can act like animals, we can act like humans, and above this is acting like a devotees. By the way, I wanted to add something. In my opinion, that the devotee, the junior devotee, could have rose to a platform, and the highest one is just been tolerant in the first place. No need for confrontation, no need to talk about it, just accept the fact that this is Krishna's arrangement and this is truth, and they can make an adjustments. But we're trying to grow, and so we do the best we can. So we can act as animals, humans, or devotees. And if we decide to act like animals, in this story, the lesson is we become animals. We become birds. Any questions, comments, thoughts, responses, chastisements, corrections? Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Nanda Braja. I had a personal concern about that same event. I happened to be there when it happened.
It wasn't real, Mataji. It wasn't real. This was a story.
It was okay. It was a figment of my imagination. Okay, got it.
You're breaking
It's
the
just
fourth.
an analogy.
You're breaking the fourth wall.
Okay.
It was an analogy.
But I want to comment that your 97% versus 3% really spoke to me. I had a conflict a couple weeks ago with a very dear person, very close person to me. And even though this person's taking the 97% blame, I'm taking my 3% and making it 100% because I want to be.
How much did you grow from that?
A lot.
It's amazing, huh?
A lot.
It's amazing how much Krishna's putting in situations for us if we're
That's
just
right.
willing to take responsibility and be humble and tolerant. So much growth in this.
I just want to
This is
thank you for
Vrindavan.
that.
Go ahead, please.
No, I'm just thanking you for that. And I mean, the quarrel between Vishwamitra and Vashishta, so intense that they were transformed into birds. And we often see birds fighting in the springtime, especially. I saw some birds that the feathers were just flying everywhere, and they were just fighting and fighting. And finally the cat came and got one of them.
That's so funny.
I know. The cat was like, oh, okay, keep this up. All right, come on. I could use some fresh meat,
So
Sure enough, they snagged one of the birds. So, yeah, it happens. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for these warnings. The Bhagavatam is full of this excellent lessons. Thank you.
We're developing a community here, right? We've been developing it for so long. Tamal Krishna Goswami, Srila Prabhupada started so much, and we should grow in our community. So there's sometimes when there's situations that happen that we can talk about these at Bhagavatam and learn from it. To me, it's not a coincidence that we have this story and some of these. I've seen it twice, actually. The same thing happened within our. Since Mother Kunti spilled the beans, that it was a real situation. I saw that situation 2 days in a row. And then you get a story like this and you're like, huh, wow, is this a coincidence? No, it's actually Krishna saying, no, please remember we are devotees, so we should be introspective and think about these things and about how we work as a community. And then when we have nice relationships, we can talk about these things as a community and nobody gets offended or not like that. Oh my gosh, that person's talking about a taboo situation and stuff. No, it's very practical. Let's talk about it. Let's grow as a community, and then we can help each other. If I had a dream.
I want to say thank you very much for that very nice class and for that reminder that it's never about what the other person has going on with Krishna. It's about what I have going on with Krishna. And if I want to make my relationship with Krishna better, then I have to be willing to humble myself and admit when I'm wrong and take the first step. If I wait for the other person to take the first step, I could be waiting a lifetime or a couple.
Point 2, by the way, when somebody else does something that's not within our etiquette as devotees, it doesn't mean that we don't recognize it. It doesn't mean that we don't see it's there. It's that we choose not to focus on it. We choose not to point the finger at them. Instead, we would rather focus on Krishna and our soul, ourself, and about how we can grow from it. Do you see the difference? We can still recognize the situation by saying that didn't happen, but if we look at ourselves and how we're acting and how we would respond to that, then we grow. If we're so busy focusing on what that person should do and that person should be and that way, then you can't make advancement from that. You can't change that person. You get no growth thinking about how other people should change, about how other people should respond. But if you make it personal with you and Krishna, if I was in this situation, I think that I need to respond like that. And you know what's amazing? A few days later, a few months later or something, that situation will come up, and sometimes you'll perform in the right situation and you'll go, wow, thank you, I grew for that. Or sometimes you might make a mistake because you need to grow more. But yes. It's so important that we not put our heads in the sand and act like things aren't happening, but yet we have to be able to see the situation as it is. Better than as it is seeing it how Krishna sees it. That's the next level. What is Krishna seeing right here? How is he wanting us to respond? Please, Mr. Bhagavan. Sorry. No, it's okay. That's all.
When Lord Chaitanya was touring South India, he went to the Panchasara temple, and there's a story behind that. You see, when a rishi performs severe penances and austerities, Lord Indra feels a little threatened. So, in the case of Vishwamitra Muni, he sent down Menuka to get him to stop doing the severe austerities and hang out with Menuka. So, in a related event, there was a Achyuta Rishi, and he was performing severe austerities, and again Indra became concerned. So he sent these 5 apsaras, so I call Pancha Apsara. He sent these 5 dancing girls from Indraloka to try to get Achyuta Rishi to lighten up and quit doing the severe, giving him trouble. So, but Achyuta Rishi got upset that Lord Indra tried that, so he turned all 5 of the girls into crocodiles. And then later on, Narada Muni got involved and brought in Arjuna, and Arjuna did something to turn them back into Apsaras. So how does this this work? We have people being turned into birds, girls being turned into crocodiles. Do they use like a magic wand, or is it mantra or something? Or like when children, they have cartoons, and there's a lot of turning people into animals. And then here in the Bhagavatam, there's these stories. So how does people are human, and then they get turned into animals by, is that like, what kind of magic is that?
Austerity, tapasya. People have mantras, their knowledge, the austerity that you do gives you a certain result, right? So you go to college and you spend 10 to 12 years becoming a doctor, a brain surgeon, and at the end you have this amazing city to get into people's brains and do this amazing surgery that like 0.05% of the whole entire world can do. These brain surgeons are like amazing, like the how delicate they have to be, So through an austerity, to get a outcome, there's certain things that we need to do to get it. And so these sages, these yogis, these munis, these have done the austerity to get the power, the result. It's pretty simple in that way, that But the question is, what result do you want? Where do you want to go? As devotees, we say, we want to be devotees and go to Krishna Loka. We want to go to see Krishna in the pastimes of the gopis and the gopas and Krishna. And so Srila Prabhupada at the end of this purport says, what is this movement about? How do we do that? Chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And so the devotee wants a result of going back home, and so we have an austerity to do. We chant Hare Krishna and we'll get a result. We're not so interested in turning people into crocodiles. At least until we get mad, and then junior devotee Das, he might have wanted to turn to somebody a crocodile for a moment, just a moment. But he sobered up very quickly. It's okay,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Shakri Prabhu.
Yeah, I just wanted to make one comment that when I asked the devotees, it was a suggestion actually. I wasn't.
Yes.
Wasn't my intention to chastise anyone.
No,
it was just
you're right.
A suggestion. So I didn't want there to be the impression that I was chastising devotees for chanting their Gayatri during Kirtan. It was a suggestion that please join us for Kirtan, and I gave an explanation that the Hare Krishna mantra is like a big circle, and the Gayatri mantra is within that circle. So we shouldn't avoid chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, to chant the Gayatri instead of that. So it was just a suggestion, and I didn't mean it as chastisement. That wasn't my intention. And there was one other point, I just forgot it. But also my personal opinion, if there's issues like this, it should be discussed, like have a ISKCON or get together amongst senior devotees rather than discuss it during the Bhagavatam class. So that's my humble suggestion also. Hare Krishna.
Shakri Prabhu, thank you so much for commenting. And when that situation happened about chastisement, I could hear in your voice that it wasn't a chastisement. And I understood right away that, like, I was like, oh, you know, he's right. This wasn't a chastisement. And so I took it like that. And as far as Ishtagoshis, the problem I have, Shakri Prabhu, is we don't have Ishtagoshis. We don't have it. So my thought is that times like this is a good way. By the way, if I offended you, I really do apologize. I don't want to offend. I was hoping to tell a story about how there's two devotees that come across two different points of views, and actually both of them have a good point, and by a good conversation and talking as devotees amongst each other, there was good that came about it. There was a respect that came, that here's my senior, because I remember at that time, Vishnu Priya Prabhu said that Ratadvaja Swami said about the other day about that there's devotees chanting their japa and doing Gayatri or reading while Kirtan's going, and the point is Kirtan should be the first thing. And when she said that, I remember thinking that's a confirmation that Srila Prabhupada would want us to be involved in Kirtan also. And so I hope that you understand that what my purpose for saying this was to give a example of devotees that might not be seeing eye to eye at one point, but through talking about it and really trying to understand each other, it becomes a positive thing. I felt like, what do you think?
Yeah, that's true, and I did admit afterwards that it was probably not the best time to do it. And another consideration also, sometimes people use the word, you're a Prabhupada disciple and why you're doing this, and you're senior and why. So sometimes I feel like that's not the proper way to interact also by, when you say someone's a Prabhupada disciple, like you're putting them on a high pedestal, and then if they do something that's not right, then you find that as a fault. Like, why are you doing this? You're a Prabhupada disciple.
Oh.
So somehow, I don't know, I don't like that type of interaction either.
Yeah,
right? We're all devotees of Krishna. We're all human beings. So
I said,
No,
I said Prabhupada disciple, Prabhu. I did.
So I feel like that's already that's kind of criticism in a sense that you're supposed to be better, you're supposed to do this or whatever. So
I really can hear you, and that I can see where that would sound like a criticism, that because you're this this devotee that you shouldn't make mistakes, or you should be anyways like this. What my purpose in saying that is that there is a dynamic of us appreciating who our seniors is, and how we should respect them, and how we should act towards them. And it is important that we have, this is one of my points of a human society. In a human society, you respect your elders. You respect your parents. And in a devotee society, we have that within our society. So it is important to understand that we have seniors that should be respected, and they should be honored as Prabhupada disciples. It wasn't meant to be a criticism that this person shouldn't do this or should do this. It was to understand that there is a dynamic that is real within our society and with our community and within the world. And it should be, in my opinion, it should be recognized that those are social norms, right? And I also agree with Shakri Prabhu's point that it shouldn't be used against people. We shouldn't use it against people, that because no junior should be or treated a certain way because they're junior, and no senior should be put on a platform where they're expected to be Srila Prabhupada. I mean, come on. That's not fair. So I will, by the way, after this conversation, I will readjust my thinking about how to bring about real situations in our community. I'm now wondering if if this is appropriate or not. I don't know. I can hear from Shakri points that this isn't appropriate. Yeah? Any thoughts? Is it appropriate to talk about these things in Srimad Bhagavatam class? Or is it inappropriate? Anybody have any thoughts? Gokulananda Prabhu and then Mother Kunti, please.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
First of all, thank you, Prabhu, for making that connection in today's purport. It was a wonderful connection. Vashishta, great sage, Vashishta and Vishwamitra clashing with each other and the consequences. So many points came to my mind. I was thinking that was a nice connection. I remembered I always, and I seek this as an opportunity to beg forgiveness and at the same time opportunity to pray to the Lordships that I may continue to follow this, but this has really helped me. My understanding is it is just the modes. We are living in this material world where there are these three modes constantly conflicting with each other, and whichever predominates at that particular moment, the living entity concerning with those modes are swayed away. So if you take a pause, I'm just praying, this is for myself. If you take a pause at that particular moment, most of the problems are solved. The problem is we just give in to these modes. But then, even if that happens, we give in to that situation and the modes, take over us and we act in that particular way due to the influence of a particular lower mode. My Guru Maharaj said this and it really helped me. One time somebody asked this question to him after the Bhagavatam class. What is the difference? I see the devotees in your society, they are also fighting and we also fight outside. What is the difference? So he said, the difference being the modes are acting, we also fight, but when we come back to our senses, we go and bow down before that devotee. So they bow down before each other. That is the difference, number one. And specifically with regards to this situation, I want to confess, because in due course of time, when you're spending some time in this society, you tend to naturally become, so to say, senior. So there is a responsibility that comes along with that. And I have seen a number of times, in my particular case, I've seen, like, I always thought I should not be chanting while listening to the class. This is how we're trained. And what am I doing? I'm violating this rule, So that reminds me, you mentioned that wonderful point regarding the sports where there is unspoken protocol or rules. So dharma is a wider term. So it just doesn't talk about the difference between animals and human beings. That is one definition, rules and regulations. But within the given setup, like the temple, there are certain protocols, etiquettes. So that is also dharma for every living being. So junior dharma, senior dharma, right? So if we follow those etiquettes, then these situations probably should not arise. And I failed to follow that protocol, that etiquette. So that's what I look within. Few months ago, there was a Vyas Puja going on. Somebody was giving the lecture. And it so happened after many, many years, I had few rounds left. I had morning service. And then I was sitting in the lecture and I was quietly chanting. And it was brought to the notice. I was caught. But somebody else sitting next to me, he was chastised. So I felt like, I shuddered, And again, this happened yesterday. I failed to carry out my responsibility. The training that we undergo, the etiquettes that we are taught, when we compromise with those etiquettes and that training, then somewhere it has to bounce back. And Krishna is mercifully pointing that out to you. And he uses wonderful souls, those who have dedicated their lives for so many years, so long, so much dedicated, so much consistency, such wonderful qualified souls only he uses as an instrument to correct us. So if we just take it positively and understand, take a pause and contemplate, as you said, then there will be wonderful things unfolding later on. This is my understanding.
Thank you, Prabhu. I'll add one. I could do a whole class on this. Mother Kunti wants it next, but I could do a whole class on this. One thing that's very important is in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that if a devotee who's set in their devotional service seems to fall down, then the devotee should not see them as a falling down, right? Okay, so we should understand that Krishna's arranging things, and because we see one thing that we don't understand, or that we think like this or that thing, it doesn't take away from the devotee's 50 years of service to Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet, the books that have been distributed, the kirtans that have been done, the people who've gotten to hear Harinam Sankirtan on the streets. There's devotees in our movement right now that are going through some tough times because something happened somewhere. Very, very, very senior devotees. And we need to be mature enough to understand that there's something between that devotee and Krishna that's going on that we don't understand, and it doesn't take away from their devotional service because they fell down, they made a mistake or something like this. It's very important for us to not see devotees as normal people. To not think that, oh, this is just a normal person who's like this at my work and yada, yada, yada. No, we need to make sure that we understand that with every devotee is so much devotional service, so many Maha Mantras, that we don't understand how dear they are to Krishna. In my opinion, that doesn't mean that we can't help each other grow and learn from experiences. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Antikoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Vanchikopaturibhyascha kripa sindhu bhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Antikoti Vaishnava Vrinda jai. Jai.
Thank Swaram Sachi Dananda Rupa Asat Kunda Ranga Kale Namami Swaram Sachi Dananda Rupa Lasat Kunda Lam Gokule Rajamana Jashoda Vyalu Kala Davamana Kala Davamana Paramishtamathyanta Todritya Gopya Rudanta Mohane Bhakti Leela Vidana Dakunde Swagoshami Majanta Akyapayanta. Drikshvalila Rana Ramona Jagotami Maya Payata. Satavriti Vanda. Cambodia. कुबेरात्मजो वाक्ते भजकृतौ च भजितो भक्ति भजकृतौ च Namolaya Devetubhya. Hare Rama, Rama Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Rama. Hare Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Hare
Prabhu, please don't put the drum on the head. It knocks off the gob. The gob chops off and sounds strange. Dr. Chiruswami gave me that service. Can I tell you the story? It's a thankless task. You talk about a thankless task. Tell everybody how to take care of it. So you're going to sing, young lady?
I think something is playing in the background.
Should I get the harmonium? Some Sanskrit classes don't know.
Thank you. Come again. No, it's just us. You want to sing some more? I'll play the... Which one? Play? I'll play Madanga and you can sing some. No? Why? You want to read?
Yeah.
Well, in that case, yeah, we're done.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's time for the reading. He's going to read Bible. We'll have Kirtan later.
Krishna, 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 Krishna hai. Krishna, 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 Krishna hai. Krishna, 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 Rakshamam. Krishna, 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 Pahimam. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rakshamam. Krishna Kesha, Krishna Kesha, Krishna Kesha, Pahimam. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Sure. Sure. Yeah. Could put it down. Yeah. Little bit down. More little bit down. Yeah, a little bit down. Yeah, this is good. Thank you. Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, chapter 8. Description of characteristics of Maharaja Bharat Maharaj. Although Bharat Maharaj was very elevated, he fell down due to his attachment to a young deer. One day, after Bharat Maharaj had taken his bath as usual in the river Gandaki and was chanting the mantra, he saw a pregnant